couple CDs here.
Yes, this is, we've been a commercial studio for about 4 years, and mastering, we just sort of fell into mastering at the beginning, and we've developed it, so we're doing a really, really good job now. This is about half of the albums we've worked on. So there's a lot we don't get. Sometimes you don't see a group for a couple of years, or they forget that they should send you their album. So most of the stuff is indie, but we work with major label artists like the Nylons, and we've done some Drifters for the States, and Colin Linden is a regular up here, and Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. And some of the better known indies are Trigger Happy, Harold Nix from Vancouver, and on and on. There's just so many bands out there.
Tell me a little bit about the complex. You were telling me about the Arcadia complex.
Yes, you were in the Arcadia Housing Cooperative, and Arcadia was designed for living and working for people that work in the arts. And as you can tell, the arts is a very broad thing here. We have, musicians like Colin Linden lives here, Terry Wilkins lives here, and there's a lot of visual artists and painters and sculptors. And it's 110 sort of apartment building, but it was designed right off the bat to live and work, and people can renovate the space however they want. And this is totally changed from what it was originally.
Tell me a little bit about your background. How did you actually get into this?
My background is I spent over 20 years as a recording musician, a guitarist to be exact, and I played in the studio for many years, film scores and records, and I worked in theater, like playing Evita at the O'Keefe Center, and I played with the Pointer Sisters and the Supremes and backed up a lot of acts around here. And in the jazz area I played with Phil Nimmons, and basically my background is very well rounded. I play everything from heavy metal to Hello Dolly, banjo stuff. So that's what we used to have to do and to make a living in the studio.
How did the recording start? Was it like you started with a 4-track and just built up? Or?
The recording here, I started as, I got tired of the music, actually the playing part of the music business, and I started wanting to produce. So I started working with artists and producing tracks, and this used to be a pre-production studio where we'd get everything together and then go to the big studio. And it's only recently that we've, 4 years that we switched into being a commercial studio. I kind of gave up on the producing and got into the mastering. So basically, when you're working with an engineer, you want to have people that have a good background in the music you're doing, and also have good ears. And the way you get good ears is to play and work with people.
I've heard of the Tin Emmys.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's an interesting project because as well as mastering.
Oh yeah, I know. Actually, know the guy. Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me that.
Well, we have. It's a funny story. You realize the price of CD production, manufactured CDs, has come down to a very, very low price these days. Because as you know, any serious band now has their own CD. So 4 years ago, we saw all our mastering clients going down the street to CD seller A, CD seller B, CD seller C, and we thought, well, we found out that nobody that sells CDs actually makes them on premises. So this is something a lot of independent artists don't know. They think these big companies that sell CDs actually have little guys with white coats and hats around the corner in the back making CDs, but the truth is all CDs are manufactured by 2 pressing plants, and being Cinram and Americdisc, and all the printing is done by Ross Ellis or Shorewood. Now, people that sell CDs are CD brokers. So you come in and you place your order, and we send the order to the plant. So what happened is Silverbirch Productions decided we would get into selling CDs, and we do about 80,000 a year now. It's like a secondary business for us. And almost all our mastering clients that don't have record deals come here and do their CDs as well, because while you're mastering something, they can be talking to somebody else that works here about the CDs.
So you're kind of a one-stop shop, but you can actually record it, you can master it, you can use your phone.
Well, anybody that's seen our ad now will know that it says recording, mastering, and CDs at one location. So it's actually, it's an okay business. It's not a lot of profit margin, but a lot of people like to do things all, in one place. They don't have to go anywhere. And like I say, nobody actually makes them on premises. Even brokers that sell $500,000 a year don't make them on premises either. So the only difference between us and CD seller A, B, C is price and service. So the bands that are looking for CDs are advised to shop around, get the best price, and make sure they deal with people that they're comfortable dealing with, and people that will bring their project in on time. And other than that, the quality is identical. These all look like they came out of a record store because they're made by the same plants that make the major label CDs.
Any requests for vinyl, or I see an 8-track?
Yes, I mastered an 8-track recording just last year.
No way, I would have thought 73 or 74.
No.
Why would anybody have an...
I guess a gimmick.
What do you play on, though? I guess you go to the Goodwill and get your player.
I didn't master it to 8-track. The gentleman took his DAT away, or CDR away, and did it himself.
Anytime.
Okay, so you are now seeing the recording booth at Silverbirch, and you are seeing Chris Perry, our recording engineer. And Chris does our recording and also does mastering too. He's a very good engineer. He is the producer of An April March. They're a sort of semi-well-known group in Canada, and in the States they have 5 albums out. So they do more business in the States, but he's produced all their albums. And he's worked here for 4 years, and basically he's worked on every album that I haven't worked on. So we have lots of credits between us.
For young guys who want to get into this thing, what do you have your advice?
Well, I'll tell you, there's it's a real shame now. There's like back when I started, there were no schools for this kind of thing, and the problem now is there's too many. We have at least 5 or 6 schools that are churning out engineers, and it's a bit sad because we get resumes twice a week, and we're just one small studio basically. So I really don't know what to say. I mean, Chris's story is actually very good to give engineers a little hope, and that is he wandered in one day looking for a place to do some recording, and I was just thinking at that time of hiring somebody, but I didn't have a lot of money, so we worked something out.
Isn't that always the way it is?
It is, but I'll tell you, you know, he makes a lot now, and he's been here for 4 years, and he basically came, you know, out of working out of his basement and, you know, a little bit in other studios. He didn't have a lot of experience, but he had the very key thing, which is ears. In other words, he knew what to listen to, and he knew what to adjust, and he's creative, and he knows how to work with the technical gear. So now, if you have an engineer that knows the technical stuff and has good hearing, you pretty well, and who's well-rounded stylistically, that's very important also, then you have a really good person. And he had all those qualities in a raw form, and he's developed them over a period of time here to the point where, as I'm sure, he could go work in any top-notch studio now and do just fine.
Do some typing or something. I'm just looking for some B-roll.
Some typing.
Do some mastering.
Oh, you can maybe work on the bottom screen.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can watch this one freeze.
Oh boy.
Check out my settings.
Just don't say it.
Yeah, doesn't. Yeah, just don't say it.